What's up guys, Rumbling Man coming to you today, and in this video we are reviewing the Sire Marcus Miller V3 second generation bass. We're going to hear it a bunch and we're going to talk about it, so make sure you stick with me. When they came out, of course, I was at first blown away by what I saw on the internet. And then, but I had this lingering thought, what's the catch? What's the catch? What's the catch? I kept playing my Fenders and my Yamahas. What's the catch with these things? How do they make something that seems like such a cool product, yet do it for such an affordable rate, right? I mean, they look cool from what I can hear online. They sound great. And then they come out with the second generation, and that just took things up 6 notches to me. And I was still thinking, what's the catch with these things? Well, today I've got one in my hands, but this is their more affordable end. And I'm glad that I'm getting to review something on the more affordable end, because if your affordable end instrument speaks and really holds down the fort for itself, then you know the upper end products are going to be absolutely great. So today we have the Sire V3 second generation model. This one comes in Sonic Blue, which is definitely a great color. It also has a matching headstock, so it is very aesthetically pleasing. I mean, just to hold it and look at it, it just looks like a nice instrument, and when I hold it in my hands, it really feels like a nice instrument. And that's something I want to address today, is feel. So we're going to hear this bass a bunch, like I mentioned a moment ago, and I'm going to tell you what the knobs do, tell you about the electronics, but I want to address feel because my concern when I get an affordable instrument is always going to be, well, okay, yeah, maybe it'll look nice, maybe I can get it to sound good, but maybe it's going to feel real crappy, have some unfinished neck or something. This neck on this Sire second generation V3 model is probably one of the very best feeling necks I've ever felt on a budget line bass guitar. It's finished in a satin that is a very nice smooth satin. It's not one of those, you can't even tell the satin's there. It's a very nice smooth satin finish that reminds me of, more expensive basses like Lakelands and things of that nature. It's a neck that feels very much like those. And then, with the jazz bass style neck, at the nut, it gets very narrow. So this is a very player-friendly bass, whether you have, slightly larger hands like myself, or huge hands or small hands, you're gonna be able to play this. I mean, it really feels excellent. Okay, now obviously to make it so affordable, they cut a few corners, and I'm going to tell you about those in just a moment. But I want to tell you about the things that I really like the most before we talk about where they cut the corners. So we have, a newer feature that I really think is awesome, and I always wanted to check out for myself, and I absolutely love it, and that is rolled fretboard edges. You're not going to get your hand hurt on some edge that wasn't filed down properly. And the great thing about these rolled fretboard edges is they allow better access to the upper frets. And I like an unhindered playing experience, because most of the bass playing I do is going to take place right here in my home studio, where I produce various recordings and then also, orchestrate the YouTube channel. And so I want something that's going to be a reliable playing experience, that I'm not going to have to do take after take after take because I'm having trouble getting around the neck. And I also want something that's going to have reliable electronics and a reliable sound. And that's what we're going to discuss next. But first, here's a question I have about this bass today. Jazz basses, you know, Sires, they're really known for really having a nice high-end treble slap to them that's very versatile and can sound really cool in a mix, but can they also hold down the other end of the spectrum, which would be kind of the P-bass thump sound? Well, I want to see that real quick, so let's listen a little bit to the neck pickup with the tone rolled off just a hair, and let's see if it can cover some of those thumpy P-bass style sounds that we often need to hear. I think it has it down pretty well, and I think, you know what, you never can get another bass to sound exactly like a P bass, but you can come pretty close, and that sounds really nice. And so you'll still hear that demo behind me right now, but you'll hear it go to both pickups just because I had to do that too. But that was on passive mode, so this bass can be active or passive. We have a very nice cavity for the 9-volt batteries, and then very nice back plate as well. Just, it's a really nice instrument, very, you know, like we said, aesthetically pleasing, a great playing experience, and the electronics are absolutely killer. So for me personally, you know, I've had experience with passive and active basses quite a bit. And for me, with active basses, especially more affordable active basses, I often find that they can be a little noisy when you use the active electronics. These are probably the least noisy active electronics I've ever worked with. Now down here, there's a little mini toggle switch, and essentially if it's in the forward position, as in toward the neck of the bass, then the bass is in passive mode and operating, you know, just like a straight up passive Fender jazz bass. But if you switch it to the back, more toward the bridge of the bass, that's when the active electronics are enabled. And we have a great 3-band EQ. So real quick, let me just tell you what the various knobs do so you'll have an idea before you get the bass for yourself. So up here, this upper knob is going to be the master volume, and below it is the master tone. And then instead of having a different volume knob for each pickup, like you'll see in a lot of Fenders, we have a knob that is actually a pickup blend. So straight up in the middle, you hear both, front, back. I really like that. I like it better for pickup blending. Then back here we have the active EQ. So with active mode turned on, this first knob is going to be a treble boost and cut. And these all pretty much have a notch filter in the middle, so you'll know when it's flat. Then over here we have our mids. So up here is the mid boost and cut, and then down here is the mid frequency selector, which is really nice because usually you have to get a preamp pedal for a frequency selector, but you got it right here on the bass, which is very cool. And then back here we have, of course, the bass boost and cut. And I just think the active electronics are absolutely great. So let's hear them a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug up and I'm going to play the bass a bit on active mode. And we're going to just listen to a few different configurations as to what these kind of controls can sound like and different sounds it can give you. We can't give you, you know, every single sound in one video because you can make so many different sounds with a versatile bass like this. But I'm going to start on active mode with everything just flat up at noon. So that's going to be both pickups and then the active electron, obviously the tone on full, but then the active electronics all flat up at noon. And then I'm going to boost treble a little bit and slap some more that way, see how that sounds. And then we're going to take the treble back down and we're going to cut mids. So we're going to scoop out the mids, see how that sounds. And then in the end, I'm going to go to the bridge pickup and boost treble and bass about halfway and listen to how you can sound slapping on just the bridge pickup. Let's check it out. All right, so we've covered kind of what the bass looks like, the feel experience playing it, and what it sounds like in terms of what the controls can do for you. So now what I want to talk about is what we mentioned earlier, which is a couple areas where Sire cuts corners to make this V3 such an affordable bass. For one thing, the body wood is going to be a little cheaper. I could tell this is a lightweight bass, and so, to make an affordable option, whereas they have some really great electronics in it, they give you an awesome neck and an awesome playing experience, it's going to be slightly cheaper body wood. And does it neck dive? It does. Yeah, it neck dives. But here's the thing. Can you handle a neck dive or can you not? If you can't handle a neck dive, get one of their more expensive models. Also, they cut corners with some of the hardware. I will echo what my friend Low End Lobster said in his review of one of these. These particular tuners are pretty crappy. I mean, obviously, they've got the nice open gear look to them. These are usually rock solid style tuners, but these particular tuners do kind of suck. They're just not very precise when you're tuning. It's like you have to keep an extra eye on the tuner, and you have to go back and forth a bit just because you don't get really good precision with these particular tuning machines. That said, that's not necessarily the end of the world because you can very easily upgrade tuners on a bass. And if you don't have the money or budget or desire to get something high-end and fancy, you can really go to Amazon and get a decent set of bass tuners for pretty cheap, like a set of Music Lily tuners. Honestly, I found those to be pretty good. I got a video about those. So honestly, don't let that dismay you because the tuners are an easy fix and they're easy to change out. And then also along the same lines of cutting corners with hardware, obviously the bridge isn't really anything too special. Obviously, it's shaped differently than a lot of the more affordable bridges you can see. It's really just a straight up, no frills bridge. But I haven't had any problems with the bridge so far. And honestly, if you do want to upgrade the bridge, you can usually find something out there for not a lot of money. Just make sure it's the right fit. So other than those couple things, I love everything about this bass. So what's the verdict? Am I going to join the Sire Revolution? I'm going to tell you after this next demo because I know that there's some of you out there who are metal guys or heavier rock guys or maybe real hard-hitting praise and worship music, things like that. And you may say, Rumbling Man, can it rock? Well, you know what? Let's keep that active preamp on. Let's listen to both pickups, maybe blended slightly toward the bridge. And we're going to add some distortion and we're going to hear this bass in a rock mix. And let's see how it sounds. So what's the verdict? Am I going to join the Sire Revolution? You betcha. As soon as I have the spare change, I'm absolutely going to join the Sire Revolution. Maybe I'll even buy this exact base I'm holding right now. Who knows? I absolutely want one of these, and am going to seek to own one as soon as possible. They're just really killer bases in terms of looks, feel, and sound. Anything that I would think is a detractor is something that's an easy fix. So guys, you definitely have my recommendation on getting one of those bases, as I absolutely plan to as well. So I've actually got a link in the description of this video if you want to go in and order yours right now, or browse them. I've got links in the description of this video where you can do just that very thing. I also have links in the description of this video to all of my social media and to other related things that I think you will like taking a look at, as well as the other gear that I used in the production of this video today. I also want to give a shout out to my good friend Low End Lobster today. He's another YouTuber and bass player, and he's very kind. He actually helps some of us other YouTubers out, and so he made this video possible today. So thank you so much, Low End Lobster, for doing so. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate everyone who watches. If you're not already subscribed to the Rumble Man channel, please subscribe. You'll see more of my videos. Give me a thumbs up button if you like today's video. I also have Patreon and social media, all that stuff. Links are all in the description of this video. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. In the comments, let me know what you think of this base and other Sire bases, and I look forward to chatting with you. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.